Alright, I think this is the most advanced robot I have seen so far. There's a company called Engineered Arts, and recently they went viral for this. This is the Ameca robot. It looks terrifying, but also it is amazing at animating itself. So this is an actual real robot, and it's pretty simple. Like the body looks, it kind of looks futuristic. The hands look a little different, but mostly the head, the face, is what everybody is interested in. This is actually a company based in Cornwall in the UK. And they are just doing all sorts of things in the movie space, in the animation space. They build big sets for like theaters and things if they need animatronic robots. But this is the thing. This is the thing. Okay, right, let's scroll down. There's a video to show you guys. This is their website, by the way. This is what went viral. I mean, just look at this. It boots up. The arm, that's okay. I mean, that's pretty normal. But then it comes to life. I mean, my God. What they're actually doing is they're using artificial intelligence to figure out facial movements and then animate them. And even the arms, they are very fluid, and that looks very realistic. Like the way that it's just inspecting itself is just crazy. Hey Harry, nice to see you. I'm doing good. Yeah, this is just insane. The way that it uses its eyes is just crazy. I think that we underestimate how important eyes are. If you look at other like robot toys and stuff, we're starting to see the animation of the faces as being a crucial part. I mean, that's the video that went viral, but they also have another video, and this is kind of a little bit more creepy. You can see like that smile is not quite there, and it just is, yeah, that's slightly terrifying. So this must be like a slightly older version of the software. It's the same face, it's the same motors that are moving the face, but it's just slightly less. It's not quite there. I feel like this one is not as advanced as the first video, but it's still kind of cool, and you can see where this is going. I mean, I can't believe that this technology is here already. Now, the robot isn't as advanced, like the rest of the robot isn't as advanced, but it does show that we're starting to cross the uncanny valley. If you don't know what that is when we look at, it doesn't have to be a robot, it could be a mannequin or something, and it ends up being, just being creepy. When you look at a robot, it's creepy because you can kind of see a human, but you can't, and so this triggers your fight or flight response, which is terrifying. And we've had this problem with robots since the beginning of time, but now robots are starting to look so natural that it's slightly less creepy. And so I think if they keep going in that direction, we'll be more comfortable seeing robots walk around. Alright, on to the next story. The FTC is suing Nvidia for trying to buy ARM. So Nvidia, they are a huge semiconductor manufacturer. Mostly they are best known for their GPUs. Their GPUs are really popular in the gaming space, obviously, but they're also really popular in the AI space, in artificial intelligence, because we need the same hardware to do basically the same computation. So like if you look at artificial intelligence, when we're crunching the numbers, what we're actually doing is crunching similar numbers to when you want to show something on the screen. And so Nvidia are a huge part of that. And then on the other side, you've got ARM. ARM are also a massive semiconductor manufacturer, and they're really responsible for things like low power chipsets. These are like smartphone chips, things that go on the Raspberry Pi, embedded devices, IoT, that kind of thing. And they are a huge player in the chip world, and Nvidia want to buy ARM, which would basically mean the largest acquisition of a chip company, a semiconductor company in the world ever, and it would create the largest company ever, which is terrifying for people like Intel and AMD, but is also terrifying for governments because we've just had a chip shortage, and so it kind of looks like this is going to happen. Oh, that's the next story. This kind of looks like this is going to happen. There's a lot of pressure for this to not happen because it'll create a monopoly on the industry. But equally, if we want strong competitors in the chip world because of the chip shortage, and we also want a bit of competition. So I don't know how to feel about this. I feel like there's some drawbacks by not letting this happen, but equally it's nice for ARM to be, as I say here, the Switzerland of chip manufacturers. They're quiet, they don't get involved in controversy, and they have a huge throughput of production. So yeah, okay, right. So that's ARM. That's the acquisition of ARM. Moving on to facial recognition. This is another terrifying story where there is a company called ClearView AI, and they are being sued for £17 million by the UK government for privacy concerns. Essentially, what ClearView do is they scrape the internet for pictures, mostly on social media. So like you've got Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all of the public images on there. ClearView have taken offline and they've trained a massive neural network on this, and massive face recognition pipeline. They've extracted the faces and they've tagged them with the accounts that they were found on, and they've used that to create an enormous database of open source images that continuously update, and that's the key thing. Then what they've done is they've sold that database to law enforcement people like the police, intelligence agencies, you name it, and they've said you can put any face to this database and we will tell you who it is. But the cool thing is, because it updates all the time, they can then use that to locate people. And there are some use cases where they've found missing kids based on being in the back of like selfies that were public on Instagram and stuff like that. So there's some cool stuff, but there's also some terrifying stuff because you can't take your face out of the database. So if your public face if your public picture of your face has gone into this database, it's really difficult to get it out. And this is kind of one of the concerns for privacy with this, which is it's not really GDPR compliant, and it's hard to tell how many faces are in there, if your face is in there at all, or if it's in there lots, depending on your public face. I have a lot of public photos online, so chances are I'm in Clearview's database. How do I feel about that? I guess it's fine. I'm not a criminal, but I suppose if I went missing, maybe it would be useful. And I certainly think that there's benefits if your kid goes missing to be able to search for them like a Google search, but in real life. But yeah, so I don't know whether this. I necessarily think that there's only bad things to come from this, but I do have a problem with the fact that you can't take your face out of it if you don't want it there. They are making steps to make that possible, but it's not as easily done as it should be. And so I think that the one thing that I would say is that there are other companies that have this tech, and there are other UK companies that have this tech. So I feel like this is a bit hypocritical that the UK government is suing ClearView. They are the largest company in the space, but they are an Australian company. There's been a lot of tension between the UK and other countries at the moment, and interestingly, Australia hasn't been one of them. They've been seen as an ally with the new AUKUS, I think it is. So this is kind of interesting that we're going after their intelligence services. But yes, this is an open company. If you have enough money, you can use their product, and I guess that's the problem. All right, moving on to the final story of the day, which is this. This is a privacy-conscious garment made by an artist, fashion designer, and I think that this is really interesting. So moving on from the privacy of surveillance and the concerns around the privacy infringement that comes from that, a lot of people are looking at privacy conscious fashion, and what that basically means is you're wearing stuff that confuses the AI and reduces the probability that you are a person when it is looking through its camera, right? So how does this work? Essentially what's happening is large cities, companies, whatever, are using AI in their CCTV to analyze and count people, recognize faces, so the CCTV systems don't visually look any different, but the software that they're running is getting smarter and smarter and smarter, as we've just seen with ClearView. And so this guy and probably a team of people have basically been experimenting with, can we confuse these systems? And the answer is yes, you can confuse them. They came up with this weird looking garment with this grid over the top. It's like a poncho, I suppose. And all it is like an illuminated cage of like these like tubes. And you can see, like, it says 33% person. It has recognized a person. It's not very good confidence. 33% is almost below the threshold you would ignore. And you can look, this is the prototype, this is them making the prototype, and it is literally just illuminated bars with different colors. And this is kind of cool. They've been scientific about it, and they've figured out what confuses AI models. You need to have a battery charger, and it's not looking, I personally wouldn't wear this. What's interesting is that they've actually done loads of different designs for this, so they've really had like a fashion approach of what people would want to look like wearing these for privacy conscious people, and they've got all these different designs. But I'm pretty convinced, the thing that convinces me that this isn't going to happen, this isn't going to be a big thing in the future, and that resistance ultimately is futile, is that I don't think that it's too difficult for an AI to be retrained. I have worked in the machine vision space before, I still do, and it's not too difficult to just retrain a machine vision model. So you could just take pictures of people wearing this, and potentially just the AI just kind of ignores it. So if you had a catalogue of clothes that were on the market, of outfits on the market that were designed to confuse AI, it might be that you can just train it to recognize those items, unless that this design is kind of confusing the camera in some other way. I think the best thing for like privacy conscious people would be to have like infrared super bright LEDs on a pair of glasses. If you wanted to hide your face, that would probably be the best thing, because you're blocking out the light actually getting to the camera of your face. So that's probably what I would do. But then, you know, maybe they'll just use like heat vision cameras. I think ultimately resistance is futile, and that we need to have good legislation around the privacy conscious stuff. Alright, that is it. That's the Beanie Brief. I told you it'd be brief. Thank you very much for watching. If you're not already subscribed, make sure you are, because we go over all the technology, metaverse, AI, crypto, all of that stuff we're going to discuss almost every single weekday. There may be days that it doesn't happen, but ultimately that is what these videos are for, going into what's happened. Tomorrow there's some incredible stuff that I want to put into this stream. So thank you very much for watching the first stream, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure to leave a comment on what you like below, and I'll catch you in the next one.